Welcome to Living Humanely. I'm Roy Thompson. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon. In the control room, we have Dave Fabiano. He does all the heavy lifting. He pushes the buttons, pulls the lever, and he makes us look good. We're very lucky today to have a person from Adams who's well known and does a lot of good things for our community. We don't get enough of it. We get the selectmen around on Wednesday nights, but this is more exciting because they're okay, but they're dull. And we don't really get the minute-by-minute play, and we don't get it in either, so, So what we've done is I looked around and I said, who's at the top of the pile? And they said, I called the town hall, and they said, Amanda Zepka. I said, well known, and I'm going to introduce her now, Amanda Zepka from Adams. And what's your life do? What do you do for work?
I wear many hats at a construction firm in Adams, Soulier and Zepka Construction. I've worked there for the past year, and prior to that, I was a project assistant at Adams Plumbing and Heating. I recently received my master's in business through UMass. So.
Hey, that's great. That's good for, almost anything to do, from construction to education.
Very true.
To get off the ground, how did you guys start? What was the idea? Why did you start this thing?
Well, I was invited to join the Pro Adams board 2 years ago, but it has been around for quite a number of years before that. And the overall mission and goal of Pro Adams is to kind of spark attention and positive awareness for the community of Adams and what they're doing, and culturally and with events and economically and politically, to kind of send out good messages about the town of Adams and what's going on there.
Yeah, that's interesting, because we're easy to be dissatisfied anytime you sit with people. They go, oh, they don't know how to do this, they don't know how to do that, and they don't get the real inner workings. I put a little load on a selectman, but they don't get a play-by-play. You guys are right on the scene. You got the education. You know what you're looking for. And I read some of the names on your committee, and it's a sound committee. And I hope that you folks get more advocates, because we've got to do something. Oh my God. Anyway.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to get people started?
I don't know. I think when it comes to, because it's volunteer based and it's a nonprofit, and I think it's always hard to get people to take that first step.
It is.
Because a lot ends up falling on a lot of the same members,
right.
and we all have full-time jobs,
sure.
and families and other responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I think that it can be a challenge, but once you get involved and you realize that you're kind of around other people who are really committed to bringing positive, voices to the forefront, and trying to make a good change towards a
right.
better direction that's just not just complaining without doing nothing to try and change that conversation. I think it's easy to kind of want to, step up and get involved.
It is, with all this going on with our government, there's a woman that does NBC, or one of them, and Stephanie Ruhr, and she always talks very hard, and she said, and people are complaining, and she always says, and what are you going to do about it?
Right.
And that's the truth. It's easy to complain. We can find fault with everything. You and I both know that you have an idea, is probably going to reinvent the wheel. They go, nah, that ain't going to work,
Right.
And with a group that has some forethought and education and so forth, you come up with ideas what we need.
Right.
There are things we need, and there are things we can get, and they'll say you can't do it in Adams, and I said you can.
Yep.
It's too bad, because they down it immediately, and when I used to go to MIT, I wasn't a student, I used to work for GE, but there are people out there that said if they get comparable money in this area, they would move here in a heartbeat. You know, because
Absolutely.
the education is good. Recreation, they say all those things that we go, you know.
Yeah.
But it is a good place to live, I feel.
I agree. Hence why I moved back here.
We're from Savoy, you said?
I grew up in Savoy,
Yeah.
but when I moved back, I was in a few different major cities before
Okay.
I moved back.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter lives in Savoy.
Yeah.
Well, because she's a motorcycle.
If there was cell phone service, I'd live in Savoy too.
Well, she has them, but there's dead spots. You know?
Yeah.
So you guys want to grow? You're looking to recruit people, or
Yeah.
or do you do it by invitation? Because there's some groups. You know,
We try to, be selective on who becomes part of the board, but we're also comprised of like subcommittees.
Good.
There's the Economic Development Committee, there's fundraising, there's community development, as well as event management. So there's different committees that people can get involved in where they're just in, if you have a very loud, political voice, or you want to get involved in that arena, you can be part of that kind of subcommittee.
That's great.
And that's open
I
to
like that.
anyone.
Yeah.
So.
it's not always the same guy carrying the ball.
Right, exactly.
Where do you meet? Where's your meetings?
We tend to meet once a month at Bounty Fair in Adams. Dave Nicholas, the owner of Bounty Fair, is also on the board for Pro Adams.
Good.
So that's where we tend to meet.
The Lions meet there, don't they?
I'm not
They
sure.
have for years
Have they?
at Bounty Fair.
Yeah. It's good.
Thursday nights.
Wonderful establishments.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, can you give me the time? Don't look at your watch. What did he say?
20 minutes.
Okay. There's a clock in there someplace. You got any future plans, anything coming along?
Well, a new development and hopefully something that grows moving into the future is an event we started last year called MagicCon, which is the Mischievous Appreciation of Greylock and Ilvermorny Convention, which is a mouthful. But kind of going along what you were saying earlier about people, kind of saying, oh, no, it can't be done in Adams. It can't be, it can't happen there. A couple years ago, J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series,
Very good.
released a short story about the North American School of Wizardry. And it just so happened that school, which is named Ilvermorny, is on top of Mount Greylock.
Okay.
And I just, myself, personally was like blown away as a Harry Potter fan. I was blown away by that
everybody
news.
knows of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just such a huge, huge enterprise that she has built for herself that I felt that to not try and do something with that and run with it and I don't know, celebrate it and hopefully do some good for the community along the way, is what kind of spurred that event. And so we had our first one last year up at the Greylock Glen, which is a very tricky logistical place to have an event like that with live music and vendors and the weather. There's a lot of variables, but we were really dead set on having it there because the venue, I mean, you've been to the Glen. It's beautiful up there.
It is.
There's no place like it, and it's got this very kind of unique feel that you don't get everywhere.
No, you
there's
don't.
There's an
It's
intangible
nice.
quality to it.
There is.
And so we had it for the first time last year up at the Glen, and we're having it again this year. It's this coming weekend, the 21st and 22nd. So we've expanded it to do 2 days. Saturday is live music. We've got this awesome 6-piece Celtic Irish band from Northampton coming. And they're playing, they're called Banished Misfortune. We've got Harry and the Potters, which is like the original wizard rock band. They're coming to play. So we've got Bright Ideas. That's Saturday. This Saturday, the 21st. And then on Sunday is a day in the life of a Ilvermorny student. So we've got a series of 45-minute to hour-long classes that are kind of magic themed. Palm reading, tarot reading, a potions class.
My goodness.
Yeah, so it's a whole weekend up at the Glen, and
But how much publicity? I don't see anything.
We've done a lot. Billboards, posters are up.
Good.
A lot on Facebook. I
Well,
believe
Facebook's big.
Facebook. We've had a huge success on Facebook and other social media platforms. We've had a radio ad running, I think on Whoopi. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
I can't know everything. But
We have radio from here, but
Yep.
it doesn't go very far. But
Yeah,
that's
so-
well, that's where you would connect with us. You know, you guys come up and just call us and come here or give us the information.
and let you know it
Yeah.
more in advance.
Yeah,
But-
because
so that's
that's
something
a
that we're
lot
doing,
of
and it's just
stuff.
such good publicity for the town, and
Oh,
it
it
brings
is.
people up to a part of Adams that isn't well known, and
That's right, and that's a place of destination.
yeah,
You know,
it's a hidden treasure that doesn't get a lot of.
I worked at Tango for 20 seasons, and people ask, you know, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And I had to tell them Mocha because we didn't have any.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, personally speaking, I would love to see the Glen area developed in a very organic way.
Yeah.
That it could house things like performances with less legwork than it takes us currently to get something
Donna's
to go.
got a pretty thing going though. Donna does all right. Donna sees it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's
and
been
I-
very supportive of.
And I feel so sorry for her because she always has so much to do. She's the
Oh my
interim.
God, she's got 8 plates and they're all
you
stacked
know,
up to
it
here.
is, but she's good, and I'm sure that the town has got to get behind it.
Yes.
They really have
Yep.
to do that. You know,
Yep.
if you're out there, you know, watching us, pass the word. You know, if I find out you're not passing word, that's not good. You can ask the people on my street. You know what I mean? So, any case, that sounds wonderful. So, we went through your accomplishments, but no, we haven't. What have you done that's good? You've done anything good?
Pro Adams has done quite a few things over the past several years, but in particular recently they've hosted 2 candidate forums when we had select members running.
Yeah.
And so that was really good. And then recently with the state representative back in the fall,
You know?
we hosted at Bounty Fair a Q&A. It wasn't a Q&A, it was more of a forum
Yeah.
where the candidates could introduce themselves. And
Yeah.
so that was a really big achievement. We had great turnout, a lot of positive
That's great.
feedback because, I don't know, you don't always get it. There's nothing like that one-on-one experience and kind of going and witnessing people's, you know, candidates speak for themselves. And
Yeah,
know.
I like that. Well, you know, I haven't been to many things. I'm on the downside. I've been through so much of this stuff. You know, I just, you know, I made 2 attempts to put a dog park in Adams, and they didn't want any part of it.
I would love a dog park
Well,
as a dog
Well,
lover,
we had a place out front of Memorial School, and I had people looking. I did a 6-month study on it, and they talked about it at the P&A and everybody. And anyway, it went bad. And then I was going to work with Specialty Minerals because they had a good spot. And the town hall called them and said, "Don't deal with me,"
Really?
because they wanted it closer to the center of Adams. And I had them closer.
Yeah, but then nothing ever happens.
you know,
Yeah, it's tough. It's
And then about a month or 2 later, they called me and asked me if I'd help them.
yeah, there's always something.
Yeah. So, and any of those things, you know, they still want to do them. One of the things is, you know, where the old coal and grain places are.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because
Yeah.
they're tearing that down,
They
and so
wanna-
I've heard rumor mills of that either being like a water splash pad type thing or a dog park. I would be happy with either. I think
Yeah,
it'd be.
and it's bigger than it looks. You know, it goes
Yeah,
way back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. Dog splashing is good. I mean, personal splashing is good, but there's a lot of traffic there. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure it would be enclosed in some way.
Oh,
but,
you know.
But I definitely think a dog park would be very
Yeah, well, I
utilized.
got a lot of information, and you know, I was in Connecticut. I talked with people who run them, and I've written, you know, and I got a lot of information, and they weren't interested, so I gave it to North Adams.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. You don't do all that work for.
Yeah, it was, you know, like, what do you put on the ground for the dog? You just can't put gravel down. you know?
Right. No.
And
Yeah.
and I all the way to a emergency phone.
Yep.
You know, everything.
Yep.
But it gave me something to do that I got upset about. Yeah, those accomplishments are good, and I think that you should publicize them more.
Yeah. We try.
You know,
We do
you
our
know,
best.
You know,
yeah.
when I say this is the Red Sox, and they're the world champion. You say, oh, world champion, okay.
Yeah.
The Red Sox in
Yeah.
8th place, nah. But yeah, and it's hard. Billboards are expensive. Things are expensive.
And when you're a volunteer nonprofit, the margins are tight.
They are.
They
are. And
that's one of the things we've heard a little bit with the event we're hosting this weekend is, the cost of admittance, because it's kids 12 and under are free, courtesy of sponsorship from Greylock Federal Credit Union, which is great. But the ticket, the adults, it has to be ticketed. It's just there's no way you can put that type of event on for nothing.
No, you can't.
And we certainly are trying to give the best value for what we're doing.
That's right.
But it's hard. It's just a challenge. Whereas our other events that we host, such as Ramblefest or Thunderfest, are just free and open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is kind of a new territory we're treading into. But nothing in life is free, unfortunately.
When it's free, be careful.
But yeah, walk with trepidation.
We get those calls every day, don't we?
Yeah.
They always call you. You want to buy this, or you're eligible for that.
If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah,
so.
right. Been on it, right?
Yeah.
But that is nothing is successful as success. So when you can say those things,
Yeah.
Susan B. Anthony Home. Nobody knows where the hell it is.
Yeah.
And
I
they had
will
one
say,
little sign,
Yeah, I will say the Centennial Committee that has been started over the past year, because Susan B. Anthony, her 200th birthday is in 2020,
Oh, yeah.
and it's also will be the 100-year anniversary of the women's right to vote. So there's a Centennial Committee that got started about a year ago that's done a lot of groundwork, grassroots work. I can definitely give you the contact information for someone there.
Yeah,
because they have really hit the ground running, because they want like a whole 6 months to 8 months of like celebrations and events in Adams, and bringing awareness to Susan B. Anthony's birthplace and the museum and everything that goes along with the change that Susan B. Anthony brought.
I met the owner.
Yes.
She wanted to move the building to Rochester. She said, well, that's
right,
where she
that's
lived.
Where
I said, I
well,
don't
she
care.
grew up there, right,
Yeah, I know,
technically.
but
But it's like, no, she was born in Adams.
That's
she
right.
stays.
Right.
So yes, there's a great committee. Some of our board members of Pro Adams are on that committee as well.
Okay.
And so they're obviously very passionate about the project.
Yeah, when we're done here, you can give me the contact.
Yes, I
okay?
will. I will.
I think that we've got things, going, but we have to shake them out of their chairs, as you said. Mm-hmm. I think that you folks should, present more things, because you've really done.
Well, now that I got your number, I'll be calling.
I'm not in a book.
Try and disguise your voice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we got about 3 or 4 minutes. I don't know what the hell. We'll just keep going till the light goes out. Here he comes. 5 minutes?
10.
10? Okay, exactly. Okay, I'll figure it out on my Mickey Mouse here. Okay, he said straight shit out. Do you ever support any in particular businesses or things like we have a girl that's she's in North Adams, but she has this open range farm. You ever see her? She's across from McCann. She's in North Adams. But we
is that Mountain Girl Farm?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now she went through our program, because what we do is we collect money and we give a scholarship to any kids in Berkshire County who are going to study animal medicine. And she was the first one a few years ago. And all her stuff is open range. She names them all. Yep. And doesn't kill any of them.
Wow.
But she's finding it tough. So if you know anybody that wants anything fresh, there it is.
We've had her at several of our events, because we have vendors at a lot of our events, and so she's often there.
Yeah, and her mother quit her job to be with her to push it along. And they did an interview with iBerkshire, and that went well. She's struggling, but I got a feeling she can make it, because she's very determined.
Yes, I was going to say she's very passionate about her.
Yeah, she is, and we've got a lot of people like you and her and that, but we've got to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't, that's a bad way of saying it, but, you know, we need the resources. I set up, I was on the Board of Health with a lot of problems with drugs and things, okay? And people here in this house complained about these people because this is a nice house and this is a drug house. So what we did, we don't have any legal blinds, but we used to call the landlord late at night and say, your building's causing trouble. So he put them out, and we started a group, you know, precinct. Remember we talked? We had a precinct, 16 people, great. We held another meeting. They're gone. And we didn't hold any more meetings. I held a meeting, and the third meeting, and the bad guys were gone, and so was my committee. I was alone. So a woman called me and said, what happened? You know, I said, somebody dropped the ball. I said, you did.
Yeah, you didn't show up.
And we've had a lot of trouble. And with this kind of stuff, okay, it makes the community feel better about itself. It's not so apt to run itself into the ground, throw the garbage on it, you know, that type of thing. Control their animals.
Yeah.
You know, that really upsets me when I see people just take their animals for a walk and leave everything, you know, because bicycles right through it.
God, don't even get me started.
You know,
it's just like basic, like, animal ownership, like decent human being. Like, you're a citizen of a community.
Yeah.
Pick up after yourself or your pet. It just
Both,
seems.
you know, and people have to be brought to that. I don't know if we stress it enough or if the laws are strict enough, but something's got to be done.
I mean, there's definitely laws in place. It's just a matter of them having the police force to be enforced.
They did tell me.
It's tough.
Chief Tarsa told me, he said, I said, you know, when I see something, it's too late by the time I get a hold of you. And I said, what about photographs? Because everybody has a camera.
Right.
He said, we can do that.
Yeah.
He said, now, if you take a picture, the photographer signs it.
Yeah.
That makes it legal.
Yeah.
You bring it to us, and if I feel there's an offense, I'll charge them.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's good to know. I wouldn't have ever thought of that.
So I said, that's great. And he told me that they did have one incident like that.
Yeah.
And the fool, he went in and he got off, and then when he left the building, he kicked the dog. And they arrested him.
Good move. Good move.
Good thing we don't have too many of those guys.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. We try to focus on not that.
Well, you know, I think the high school's growing. I've got a grandson that's going into the band this year. He loves the band. It's getting bigger. I think those things are really important.
Yeah,
you know, the education.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And, I think overall, you know, they're sorting people out. And the educational angle is so big and so important that
it is, and it's a very challenging situation.
It is
for parents, educators, and children. You know? It's not just in the Adams Cheshire community.
No,
it's in rural communities throughout the country. It's not limited to us, but it's a very personal matter, and everyone's got their own. You know, it impacts everyone differently.
They do.
You know,
my daughter's been here over 20 years.
Yeah.
And she likes it, but I said, you got to have discipline. And she said, well, it's hard, you know. I said, no, it isn't. You just enforce it, you know. And the parents. I said, never mind the parents. The laws are there, you know.
Right.
And that's what they should do, in my opinion. Everybody should go into the service. And when I went into the service, you know, I ended up in the police force, which is scary, but you know, they were tough.
Yeah.
It was tough for me being not all that big, but I was okay. The thing is that there's no medium ground. You know, it's one way or the other.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
I went to these are stories I'm telling. Middle school to give a class when I was in the fire department about the fire service. And when the bell rang, everybody got up there. I said, no. The bell doesn't excuse you. I do. And this is my class, not Mrs. Dargy's class.
Yeah.
So they looked at me and said,
oh boy.
I said, now you can go, you know. But
right.
And it's true. You know, I used to go up there because of this animal thing with scholarships. And oh God, they'd run into you and all. It was terrible, you know. And I said to some of the family, why can't the parents, I said, well, straighten them out. I'm serious.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the dynamic has changed a lot. It's
It
shifted
has.
towards blaming the teachers, and
Oh, yeah.
and it's really I mean, if I ever did poorly on anything growing up, my parents looked at me first. What happened?
That's right.
Did you not study? Did you,
That's
you know,
right.
not eat your carrots the night before? Like, you know, what
Yeah.
it was looked to me first before
Yeah.
starting to, you know, put the blame on teachers.
I
But
remember my father telling me, I don't know what the incident was, but my father said to me, what did he say? If I was looking for a liar, I wouldn't know where to hide you. But you know,
Yeah.
it is. It's if you don't have discipline, a teacher can't do anything.
Right.
Now, my daughter has a punch out in one of her classes. I mean, fist fight.
really,
Blood. And who stopped it? She said, I did.
yeah,
Nobody helped her.
yeah, it's
And you know, I said, where were the guys in your class?
become very tricky waters, I think, for teachers to navigate, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it just has. It's just not. I'm not saying that everything about how it used to be was right. I'm not saying that, but I
Right.
think it might have, the pendulum swung a little bit too far the
It
other
did-
way.
It did, and you know, we were talking about volunteerism and so forth. I was in the Alerts 26 years, and that's one heck of an outfit. But a while ago, they were going a little short. Not that they couldn't cover what they had to, but they were going a little short. And I asked people why that's happening. He said, "Well, the Alerts will always be there." I said, "Well, who are they?"
Yeah.
They didn't know anybody,
Right.
You know, and I said,
Right.
"That's who
Yeah,
we were." You
the
know,
volunteerism and activism has, I
Yeah.
don't know, like it's very easy for people to sit behind a screen or
Oh,
what
yeah.
have you and air their 2 cents, but
That's right.
you don't see them at meetings or,
That's right.
or getting involved with. I mean, you do the select few, but it's very often a lot of the same faces.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So you know, you just kind of have to put that aside because that's just the way it is. But
I think
that's not what our group is focused
Right.
on, and you know, we welcome anyone that has a
Well-
positive attitude and an approach towards, you know, the
Yeah.
town of Adams. And
Well, you guys are a breath of fresh air, and I hope that us talking today, that the word gets out there a little bit, that you know you're
Me too.
looking for good candidates.
Absolutely.
And because you're doing good stuff, believe me. And I got a good idea what's going on in town. Not so much the last year ago. I haven't been well, but you know, I had an idea what was going on in town, and you gotta use it.
yep,
You got to use it, you know,
Yeah,
and you can't let them shut you down. When I went to Tango, when I went to Lennox, and they'd have a big banner. This is what's going to be showing up. I went to the town hall. I said, "How about this?" And what's his name? He said, "No, we got to tie it to a pole that's worth a lot of money." And I'm like, "Oh God," you know, you know.
yeah.
So, well, look, we're down to the last. Look
Look at that.
They always do that to me. We got a minute and 1 second.
That's funny.
Anyway, yeah, well, we've been a little redundant, but that's good because if you don't say it enough, people don't hear it. And I think
Exactly.
that I've heard your group's name mentioned many times.
Yes.
And so you meet at the
We meet the
At the-
first Thursday of every month at Bounty Fair.
Okay.
But that's the board meeting.
okay. How would they get in touch with you?
They can reach out to me personally through my email. Should I give that? Or
Do it, yeah.
Okay, it's amanda.zepka@gmail.com. If it's something, if Pro Adams, whether it's the board or being on the committee, one of the committees is something you're interested in, or you just want more information, they can also visit our website, which is www.exploreadams.com. We're on Facebook under Explore Adams.
Great.
So you can find all of our information there as well.
Good.
Yep.
Well, we covered it, and I got a lot of good stuff from you, and I hope to see you again, and I'll
Yes.
see you folks the next time.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
It was a pleasure to meet you.
was it?
Yeah.
I sort of stumbled along, but